Hello.
Hello. Good Anna morning.
And welcome to the Animation Breakfast Club stream. The extreme.
Sorry that we're a little bit late. We slept in. However, we are here now. And we're ready to look at some more animations.
Yeah, we have the second half of the Anna Morning Challenge. Challenge submissions. I never know what to call them. Entries, entrails, animations.
Yeah, animations works.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a cover-all. You forgive us for sleeping.
Thank you. Declan's here to commit crime! With a capital C. Crime!
Well, I can say that I woke up on time.
Yeah, wake up one time. And then I hugged you.
You hugged me.
And then we fell asleep again immediately.
Yeah.
And then when we woke up, it was like 15 minutes ago.
So do we get points for wholesome?
You can't.
Wholesome hug time.
You can't do that. You can't ask people for that. That's cheating.
I can and I did.
No. No.
Right. Is your screen shareable? Yeah, it's all the points.
It is. I just need to turn NDI on. Okay, it should be working now.
NDI, what do you want to share? When you don't want to share what you're showing. NDI when you do.
It's like non-disclosure agreement and then non-disclosure infraction.
I was editing a tape deck yesterday, a video tape deck. Our flatmate is a comics artist, and he's done a podcast where he's talking with various comics people. And yesterday's one was different because it was a video one where he had a video call with people, and one of the people on the call, who sometimes frequents here, Will Slaney, they ask him, "So what have you been up to, Will?" And he proceeds to say things, and then just after he said everything, Declan goes, "You know this is recorded, right?" And his face just went like this, India. And he just started motioning to like, ah.
Well, what did he say?
I can't say what he said.
Oh, was it bad?
It was fine. It was just like super NDA info.
Oh, he was just talking about all the stuff he's doing that isn't meant to be announced yet.
Yeah, it was just the way his face dropped is so good.
Oh my god.
So I've edited it so that it goes, "Hey, what are you doing, Will?" And he goes, "Well," and then it cuts, and Declan's like, "You know this is recorded, right?" And he's just like, get that out. So yeah, it was fun. Anyway, yeah, your screen, can I share it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, here we go.
It was recorded, Dark Vault, not live. Luckily.
Yeah.
It was a conversation that Declan had with a bunch of creator friends that he recorded, and Mike's editing it so it can go up on Declan's channel.
Yes. Yeah. Not streamed, only record.
Thank goodness.
You should throw in a technical difficulties prompt. That would have been funny.
That was my impression of one.
Sorry, Voidink fan. We got the second half of the entries.
Yeah, we're all gonna get real hungry. All right, this is Hinky Pink art. Let's get straight into it.
Let's do it. No introductions.
Well, I mean, my introduction will be asking how everyone is, and just catching up with people, asking what they're up to today.
Oh yeah. I meant just go for it. Go.
Okay. Well, while people tell me how they are, I can play it. So this is Hinky Pink art.
Woo.
Thank you for your submission, Hinkapinkart. Let's have a look. Oh.
Adorable.
Oh. Oh.
Is it one of those like 1,000-year-old eggs?
I don't know. Hinkapink, are you there?
Let's see.
Yo, you're there. Awesome. What is this? It's an Ichigo Daifuku Mochi. Okay, I have to look this up to see what's inside one of those.
They
I love
said,
mochi.
this time my time management worked out a little better and I really hope I depicted the stickiness of the Ichigo Daifuku.
Die.
I was hoping to clean it up after your feedback and I wondered if you got some good cleanup tips.
Yeah, I'll have a look and see. Oh, it's got strawberry in it. So there's like the mochi outside and then there's red bean paste and then the strawberry.
Oh, cool.
Now I know.
Now we know.
Hold on, let me look at it one more time then. Yes, nice finger positioning.
Yeah.
Like, especially like here. Really nice. And yeah, I really like the way that you're depicting the stickiness of the mochi by having the blade go back and forth and the mochi stick to the blade as it goes.
Yeah, that's
Like,
nice.
That's clever. I think maybe one of the things that you could do is when you first start cutting, the knife cuts it very quickly and very easily. I think you could have that push down a little bit into the mochi because mochi's so soft and squeege. You know, that it can be kind of difficult to cut sometimes because it's not firm enough for your knife to just push straight in. Sometimes it like depresses it a little bit. So I think you could add one frame here to the beginning before the cut actually happens, where you just push down on the mochi with the knife for a little bit, but the mochi doesn't quite give yet. Let me pop this on.
Inkpink says, okay, depress mochi. Got it.
Depress that mochi.
Oh, noted, sorry.
Mochi is so good. If I go to the Japanese restaurant below us today, I could have some mochi. They do it as a dessert, so sometimes when I order sushi, I'm like, give me that mochi.
Your basement's restaurant.
Yeah, give me that mochi. Just like push out the sides a little bit.
More mochi, more problem.
I learned how to make mochi. It's super easy to make.
Really?
Yeah, it's basically just rice flour and water and sugar, and that's it.
What about the filling? Is that a different ingredient?
Yeah, the filling, you get different fillings for different mochi. But the actual mochi itself is really easy to make. Unless you want to do it properly like they do in Japan. I make the instant version. Shoo, bless me.
How do you cook the dough?
In mochi, you don't.
Oh.
In mochi, they have special mochi places where they pound the mochi by hand and stuff, and it's they make it properly.
Oh, okay. But the the version you know is more
The version I go is microwave friendly.
Oh. Oh. Have you ever tried it?
Tried what?
To make it?
Yeah. That's how I know how to make it.
Oh, you invented a way to make it?
No, I looked up a way to make it and then followed the instructions.
Oh. Have you done that since I've known you?
I don't think I've done... Yeah, I have done it since you've known me.
Okay.
I used to make it in my old apartment in Stoke.
I don't remember that.
You might not have been there, but I did know you.
Okay. Technicality.
I made some for my friend's birthday because she's into mochi. So I was like, I'm gonna make you some mochi.
I'ma make you some mochi.
But I used to make it myself as a snack as well. To push down on the softness that is the mochi. Push down on the soft mochi. Thank you for the grid, by the way. I appreciate it.
Yes, no triggering happening. Nothing is sad.
And then we have the knife cut in. And it goes back and forth. I'm wondering if there's a way that we can make it more explicit that the knife goes back and forth. It might be worth adding like a small detail to the knife. Just so that it's like super obvious that it's going back and forth. I know that you can see the end moving. But I feel like having another detail will make it even more obvious. Just because like most of the handle is very close to the edge of the screen, so I don't tend to see it. So it's a bit harder to tell that it's moving. Like horizontally. So I think if you add, I don't know, maybe like you could add a hole here at the end of the knife, or some kind of decal or something to the knife. So I'll add design detail. That's easy for our eyes to track. To make movement more obvious. To make left and right move clear. I think that will help a lot when it comes to the kind of soaring motion back and forth. There we go, back and forward. Yeah, I really like the way that you're distorting the mochi here. I think because the mochi, the bottom of the mochi stays consistent here, you might want to just make sure it's consistent on this frame too. So I do feel like the further down we get, the more squashed the mochi is probably going to get at the bottom as well. And don't forget that the back side of the mochi here will also be moving and pushed around by the knife. Like, it won't just stay still. It'll be basically doing the same thing that the front of the mochi is doing. Remember who you are. You are the one true king. Remember, back of Mochi. Aaron's cat is called Mochi, and what a great name for a cat. Will also move. I like the attention to detail that you have here, though, Hinky Pink. So when it comes to the middle of it, when you get to the middle with the knife, I feel like the top of the mochi would move maybe less than the bottom, I feel. I feel like because the middle bit is the bit which is being dragged now, and the sticky mochi dough is sticking to the knife, probably the middle will be the main bit to move, if that's the bit that the knife is now passing through. So be sure to like push the mochi from where the knife is, and then have everything else follow. So rather than the top of it this way, because the knife is pushing that way. It'd be more like the middle of it would push that way because the knife's pushing that way. And therefore the top of it might actually push the other way. Because it's being pulled by that movement. So make sure that the source of the movement is what's dictating where the mochi's moving from.
The source of the force.
The source of the force. Nice. We're going to change it to that. Source of force.
I thought you would like it.
Yeah. I can't spell force. Wow, I put a U in force.
Sorry.
You're laughing at me. How dare you?
I do dare to laugh at you. You need to be taken down a peg.
Hey, what? I'm humble. I eat humble pie for breakfast every morning.
Humble bumpkin.
I am a humble bumpkin.
The sauce of the farce.
You can always tell someone's humble when they tell you that they're humble.
Yeah. I noticed that one as well.
Yeah. So the top of the mochi kind of drags after the middle, which is the main source of movement because that's where the knife is pushing into. Likewise with the bottom. If you want to do the thing that I was suggesting where you like squash it down a little bit, the lower the knife gets and the closer it gets to the bottom, the more the bottom will squeeze. Squeeze.
Squeeze.
Squeeze. This is a nice one. It feels like the mochi is being pulled by the knife here. Nice frame. Yeah, I like this where you have the knife start to pull out and then they stop and then the hands readjust. That's a really nice touch. I feel like we're losing a little bit of volume here just because the only part of the mochi that's moving is that side. So maybe just... I did that too much. I pushed it out by accident instead of pulling it in a little bit. It's so subtle, man. Who you tippy tapping to?
Twitter. I'm just letting people know about the stream. I'm using my personal account for this one, and I'm always tempted to be just attached to touch more sassy.
Why are you using your personal account? The whole reason we got the Doig Swift account was to tell people about the stream.
Yeah, but I'm quote retweeting the Doig Swift one.
But why not just post it for the main account?
I don't know.
So weird. Like if we keep it in one place consistently, then people will like know where to look for them.
Okay, but I'm gonna be sassy.
You're gonna be sassy?
Yeah.
Well, on the main account?
Yeah.
That's fine. You can be sassy.
Okay.
If you want to be sassy.
I'm being sassy then.
Okay. You be a sass bear.
Yeah. That's a person. That's someone. That's Game Grumps editor.
Sass bear.
Sass bear. Yeah.
A Game Grumps editor is sass bear. I thought it was Ben.
No, someone who does like the best ofs, the compilation ones.
Oh, you mean S Bass Bear?
Oh, is it S Bass Bear? Okay.
I think it's got a B in there.
I thought it was Sass Bear. Oh well, I'm Sass Bear then.
You are the sass bear.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I can't say the same thing from the account. It doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because I was gonna say. I was gonna say you're missing professional animator Old Swifty giving animation feedback if you're not watching this stream. But that doesn't make sense to tweet.
Well, I'm glad you didn't tweet that.
For you to why?
Because that makes me uncomfortable and makes me feel weird.
It's sassy.
It puts a lot of pressure on me.
Oh, but it's true. All I've said is that
yeah,
if
but I
they're not
feel
watching the stream,
strange addressing myself like that.
but
Can we not put something like kind of more neutral and friendly, like, you know, we're doing animation critiques right now if you want to drop in, having a good time hanging out.
no,
geeking out.
I've discovered that that's not how Twitter works.
You-
People don't like pleasant on Twitter.
I don't like you using me as your outlet for sass though.
All right. Day
I'm just
two.
keeping that subtle movement going as the knife pulls out, so it doesn't just stop.
Okay, come.
Nice hand drawings here.
Minus.
Makes me want some mochi, because mochi's so good. Mochi's so good. Yeah. Ninja Girl Emily says, I find pleasantry on Twitter is nice to see because no one does it. You should both form a tweet by picking one word each. We could do that. Oh, you pronounce it space bear. Interesting.
Space bear. Yeah, like base. That makes sense. I said animation feedback stream.
Space bear. Oh,
Come
that's
join
clever.
us.
Sorry?
Animation feedback stream. Come join us. Love heart.
Yeah, that's nice. See, that's good.
Retweet.
Yeah, this is really nice, Inka Pink. Good job.
And then I go to my main account.
I think you could add a few more in betweens if you wanted to. You could start the handle lifting on the knife a little bit earlier. Like these are nitpicks. Oh, I've done the accidental thing where I choose only a small part to play. Okay, so could start lifting the knife here. Just start the back end of it being lifted up. Do you have that ruler, Mike?
Oh.
Thanks, that might be really helpful right now, actually. Let me... Make him say yes! I'd forgotten. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for the follow. Who followed?
Hypernux.
Thank you, Hypernuts.
Nux.
Hypernux. Oh my gosh, like Hyper Knuckles.
Maybe.
Cool.
That woke me up, lol.
Yep.
Oh, is it
Make him
loud?
say yes.
Oh, it's pretty loud.
Good. Keep it loud. Play it loud. And then when you lift it up, yeah, I think that'll have a nicer curve to it. A little bit of anticipation of the handle being lifted up first. And then watch that arc on the knife blade. Maybe pop it up more like this. So again, I'm imagining what's off screen. I'm imagining that once a person has pulled up the knife by the handle first, which has dipped the blade a little bit, now the hand is going down, so the blade is going up. And that also means that we get a nice curve, nice arc of the blade as it goes out. Whoops. Whoops. Always drawing the wrong frame. Everybody supersonic racing. Yeah. Yeah, and in terms of the in-betweens, I just look at like maybe the hands, giving them a little more ease in and out on certain things. So you're asking about advice when it comes to cleaning up. I think my advice would be, what program are you using, Hinkapink? You're using Krita, okay. So there's not a pen tool. I would suggest using duplicates of frames where you can. And just being very, very precise. For the knife, I probably would just use one drawing that I duplicate and then move between the frames. And I know that can get a little tricky because I think Krita has a thing where every time you copy and paste and move something, the image quality dips a little bit. Because it's bitmap based.
Raster based, right.
Yeah. So basically have one drawing of the knife at the beginning and keep going and duplicating that one instead of duplicating your duplicates, if you know what I mean. So that your quality doesn't keep degrading, it like stays at like one step removed from the original image. Same with the emoji itself. The emoji itself will need the most redraws, and the main thing there is subtlety. So there might be times when you need to completely redraw the shape and just slightly adjust something, so just take a lot of care.
Yeah.
With really trying to get, using your onion skin, using back and forth a lot, like flipping back and forth between the drawings a lot to check that you're really keeping it consistent. The hands are kind of secondary, so you can be probably a little bit looser with those. The main thing is the movement of the knife, which you can copy and paste, and the mochi, which will require some redraws, but very tight, very accurate ones. And then your grid you can pretty much leave as is. Like, that works. Yeah. If you wanted to try Toon Boom out and try a free trial of that, then the pen tool would be useful for this because you can push and pull the points around on that.
That's true, yeah.
After you've done it, so it's very easy to keep things consistent and then just very subtly change something because you can have the same pen stroke and then move the line a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So that would be another good way to clean up an animation like this if you wanted to give Toon Boom a try.
Thanks for the host.
Yeah, thanks very much. And great work, Hinkapink Art. Now I want some mochi. Let's move on to Dark Vault.
Whoa.
Wow, look at this. To get a whole background and everything. Get a whole character in a place. In their kitchen, cooking a thing.
Dark Vault says, when it comes to food, the most I could think of was reveal images of finished food, not much animation, so I have not really gotten an idea of what to do for the challenge. Try it anyway.
Well, thank you for trying anyway.
Here we go.
Let's have a look. Damn, I'm getting hungry now. I like it. I think that you have some decent food animation in there for sure.
Yeah.
Like you have the boiling animation, and you have this whole sauce swishing around in the pan, and then being poured over everything. Super nice. The casserole slide. Yeah. I really like the way that you have the clear feeling here of the sauce sticking to the bottom of the pan, and then the top layer of the sauce, which isn't sticking, overlapping the bottom layer.
Yeah, that's nice.
I really like that. I think the one thing you might want to think about when it comes to that is this kind of circular motion that is more likely to happen with the pan. So rather than just go from one end to the other end, I feel like there would be a kind of a circular motion happening where probably not only would it be going back and forth, but one side of the pan would probably be more tilted than the other.
Yeah, favor one side over the other.
Yeah. So, like where you have the tilt here, I feel like that would kind of be happening a little bit earlier too. And I'll show you what I mean in a few drawovers. Look at that frame. That's a good frame. That's a hunger-inducing frame. Yeah.
Inky Pink says the grid there looks a little weird to me.
Oh, you're right. It is. I wasn't even looking at the grid, but you're completely right. I just put a very small note in here because I can't resist. Just be like, since it's so sticky, like leave a couple of beads of it cloistered in the edge where the planes of the pan meet. That's where you're most likely to get your sauce stuck. And it feels like a few beads of that would remain behind on there for sure, if it's that sticky. But yeah, the grid is a thing for sure. So at the minute it looks like you just have a straight top-down grid with a slight tilt. But the angle that we're looking at this on is not straight top-down.
Mm-hmm.
So you just want to reflect that in your grid. So say I keep this center point. You're just going to want a very slight angle on it, essentially, to make us feel like it's coming more toward us.
I think the grids, if the oddness is because the change of shit, like putting when the casserole dish first goes down, it feels a little closer, but when it rotates, it doesn't feel like it rotates in accordance to the surface that it's on.
Yeah, agreed.
And it feels like we're looking at it from more of a 45 or 30 degree angle, looking down rather than more top down.
I think that's probably more what you want. Does that make sense to you, Mike?
I think so. I would be tempted to have the vanishing point be kind of like a little bit upper left. I don't know, can you go to a frame where the pan lid is off? Yeah, because it turns, the final settles there, and I feel like the grid would actually be like going up that way.
You would rather have
but I don't know if that
mimic the final position. So
yeah, I don't know if that's just because
be up there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just because when you rotate things on the grid rotates with them.
Well, it doesn't. When you rotate things on a grid should stay where it is unless the camera's rotating.
Like
if the camera rotates, the grid should rotate.
If it's more like me thinking about the lines that recede to a vanishing point. If I put this here, then the lines, if looking at this perspective, the vanishing point would be over there. But if I do this, the vanishing point would move with it. So I think they'll find like that final grid position.
The vanishing point of the casserole dish would, but the vanishing point of the table wouldn't.
No, the vanishing point of the table.
And the vanishing point of the table is, I'm assuming, what they're drawing, because they're drawing the surface it's on, not the perspective of the casserole dish.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, you had the grid the way you wanted the background surface to be. Yeah, I think I think you would see more of a top-down view of the casserole dish if you wanted to keep the original grid. So when you rotate it like this, you probably see less of the front edge, and it would taper down more.
Wait, what are you talking about now? Are you talking about my grid, or are you talking about Dark Vault's original grid?
Dark Vault's original grid.
Yeah, Dark Vault's original grid is directly top down, so you wouldn't really see much of the edge at all.
Yeah.
But we're redoing the grid, right? So that their drawings make sense.
Yeah.
Because it makes more sense to redo the grid than to redo all the drawings.
Yeah.
So, would you prefer a grid like this or a grid like that, Mike?
The second one feels
Okay,
better to me.
we finished doing it then. Oh, crap. You're on the wrong one. There we are. That last line doesn't make any sense. I just drew.
We're still figuring this sort of stuff out, Dark Vault, so no worries.
We just... like that, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So more like this.
Yeah.
Feels more like it's planted on the surface then. So I'll just put adjust grid. Like, I'm not gonna critique anything about this first bit in terms of the gridding, because obviously you've had to work it out in order to draw this environment.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, you could see some of the stuff inside the pan. That might be nice, because we can see the pan surface here. We can see the bottom of the pan, so it might be nice to put some of that sauce onto the skillet they're using, and maybe show a bit of it being pushed around in here.
Yeah.
So the pan doesn't look empty. Add food. Add food.
It's the sauce of the farce. Sorry, callback.
I like the way that you've added the detail of having the cloth draped over the hands here, because the casserole dish will be hot. I feel like when we do this spin, probably this will be more the shape of the hand, with the thumb up first. I'm just thinking about myself spinning a casserole dish.
You had in mind mashed potatoes with steak and a red wine sauce.
Mmm, sounds good. Holy guacamole. But yeah, and then you'd have the cloth on top of that. But when I think about spinning something across to me with my fingers first, here, oh yeah, fingers first, my hand rotates around to put my thumb on top.
Yeah.
Pretty sharpish, like that. And then these are nice. Got some nice friends going on. If you want me to add a few more in-betweens, I'd love to see like a frame just before you've actually grabbed the pot, with the hand like ready to grab the pot. Get a bit of anticipation in there. And then grab it. And then this is really nice way that you're bending the wrist and dragging the hand down. You could probably actually not even lift off the lid at that point, you could leave the lid on and then lift it off in the next frame. I really like the steam coming out here. It does feel like it goes very much straight up, whereas it feels like it would also be coming out towards us a little bit. Like so. So I think you could just adjust that shape a little bit to have the billow come.
Thank you for the follow.
Thank you. To have the billow come out a little bit as well. I know it's slightly more difficult to have it dispersed that way, but I think it would feel slightly more realistic. My shapes are very similar here, so you would want to break them up and make them feel a bit more organic. I have the problem that I naturally try and draw things quite symmetrical, which makes effects for me very hard. Yeah, steam comes slightly toward cam.
Yeah, because if you imagine the heat and all the water vapor and steam, when the lid lifts off, the steam is going to lift off or raise up, and then it's going to meet the solid surface of the lid, and it's going to keep trying to go up. Because it keeps trying to go up, it's going to push up and then outwards, and then you're going to have it, like, as India is suggesting, coming more towards camera, because that's the only direction it can go before the lid is fully away.
Yeah, so then you can have it just overlapping the hand a little bit, which will be nice. Just like pushing outwards a little bit there. The grand reveal! Looks so good. And then this isn't like one of my favourite parts here. The really nice sauce bit. So this is the part where I would suggest that it feels like the pan is tilted slightly this way. So it feels like the sauce would also slide slightly that way. So, for example, here it feels like the sauce might be clustered more around that bottom edge, like this.
India, can I tell you about a dream I had?
Was it last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you can.
I dreamt it in between waking up and then waking up the second time.
What, this morning?
Yeah. And I heard like this sort of like little footstep. Like I was on it was a weird thing. There was like a chair in front of a computer game that I must have fallen asleep in, or someone else had, and I was like, it was in the morning, and I just heard this little like pitter patter of feet, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be Buffy, and it wasn't Buffy. It was the tiniest dog, like,
oh no,
like a rat size, like a big rat sized dog with really spindly legs.
That sounds, I don't know whether that's cute or terrifying.
It was cute in a like dogs shouldn't be that small kind of way, and it was just sort of like walking, and then it like hopped up onto a chair and like walked around, and then it just kind of like stood there and looked at me, and then another bigger dog came in, and this one was attached to a leash, and then there was this woman attached to the leash as well, but she was like holding
a woman
the leash.
Attached to the leash? Do you mean she was holding the leash?
She was holding the leash, yeah. And she's an old woman. She was like, I was like, wait, I can hear the sounds of the outside street. So I go to the front door and it's open, and this woman had walked in with her dogs and was just sort of like oh, your front door is open. I'm like, oh,
No
yeah.
shit. You're in here.
I was like, yeah, it is. Oh, someone must have come home late and forgot to lock it or something. Like, she's like, oh, you should close your door. And I'm like, oh, sorry, this house has like 10 people in it. Somehow, I don't know. I think it was referencing like a previous stream from before. And I was like, so kind of being like, it's not me, but I'll fix it. And she's like, oh, and it's 10 a.m. and you should be awake by now and stuff. And then that's when I woke up and went, fuck, what time is it? And that's when I realized like we'd slept in. So my brain was like screaming at me through tiny dogs and old women that I had slept through something.
That's so weird that you had tiny dogs on the brain. Were you looking at pictures of tiny dogs yesterday?
No, I was not.
So yeah, I would just keep this sauce a little bit more uneven when it swoops around the pan. Feels like it would favor one side more. So I'll just put a little note to that. I say putting the note on the wrong frame again. Rather than swooshing up and down. Oop. Try more of a circular motion. To show the tilt of the pan. And then when it comes to the pouring of the sauce, I really like the way that you have it spread. Feels very nice to me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way that you're using highlights. I think the last couple of frames here feel just a little bit off with where you have the shadows. Just because we're getting a little bit of the shadows going back and forth here. Like it's moving to the right, then it moves back to the left. So just make sure that you're keeping everything like spreading and going in one direction evenly. Because you don't want a jitter going back and forth. Yeah, but other than that, I think it's working super well. It's real nice. And that food looks darn tasty. I'm into it. Nice job, Dark Vault. I hope you had fun animating food. I had fun watching it.
Yeah, it definitely got the kind of like the feeling of, you know, like when you watch Ghibli food and you're like, man, I want to eat that.
Yeah.
It's you're harnessing that power there.
Harness that power. The energy.
Are we on to another one?
Okay, let's move to Moopers.
Moopers.
Thank you, Moopers. / Evan. Let's have a look. What we got?
They look like they're going to crack an egg.
They are. They are going to crack an egg.
And they separate in the yolk. Do people do that?
Yeah.
With their hands?
Yeah.
Oh.
Chefs do that with their hands, Mike.
Oh. Don't touch the egg.
Don't touch the egg. They do, though. With the hands, they do. They sure do. Never have I ever seen this. Say think you think art. I seen it. I seen them do it. So I think Moopers, one thing which would help a lot here is a few more in-betweens. Also, thank you for the grid. Much appreciated. Nice grid. And the reason I say a few more in-betweens is because Everything is spaced very wide, which makes things feel like they move very fast. Whereas it would feel much more nuanced, I think, if we had, like, for example, an ease in where the egg comes into screen here. Because I think if you're easing into that last pose, it shows that the person who's cracking the egg, like, brings the egg in and then gently taps it. Whereas if you have it come in at speed, it's almost like the person's just smashing the egg directly into the bowl.
Bang.
Whereas obviously if it's an egg they're dealing with, it's fragile, so they're going to need to, like, slow their load a little bit there when it gets to the bowl, in order to then gently tap the egg on the side.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when you... Oh, Moopers, hey! Next time I'll just smash it. That'd be more fun anyways.
Smash it straight in there.
Hey, welcome.
Ease in. Add in-betweens. To show gentleness. The gentleness of cracking an egg.
I feel like I'm learning both about animation and cooking.
Ha! Yeah, and then this frame with the egg with the crack in it, because it's kind of past a bowl, it's actually kind of hard for me to tell where on the bowl this egg is being tapped. Like, is it being tapped, like, here on the side of the bowl? Or was it tapped on the edge of the bowl, which is normally what people use? Because if it was tapped on the edge of the bowl, then it feels like the crack would spread from there instead. Like, I don't know how most people crack eggs, but the way I normally do it is...
It looks like it's being cracked on the table, says D-Sloogie.
It could be being cracked on the table. Is it being cracked on the table?
That makes more sense.
It's on the table. Gotcha. There's no need for me to continue drawing this diagram of how I crack an egg. I'm sad. Maybe one day, egg diagram.
I do it on the edge of the bowl.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it's being cracked on the table. That seems risky to crack it on the table.
Tibbs is saying use a flat surface so you don't push the shell inside the egg, right? That makes more sense.
Oh, this is actually an advanced egg cracking technique.
Advanced.
So we crack it on the table.
Hey, David.
And then and then we pull it apart, presumably.
That's kind of hidden.
Yeah, I think... Let's see. I think that's part of the problem. It's not really knowing how the fingers are functioning here too. Because I'm assuming that this person has the egg on their, like, between their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
So the fingertips are here and they're, like, holding the egg using the pressure from the edge of the fingertips, right? So then when the egg is, like, scooped up by the hand, the fingers are going to be doing the leveraging to get it into the palm of the hand. And the fingers here are drawn curling around like this, which means the fingertips are here, which means the egg should probably be here, being leveraged by the fingertips into the palm of the hand. Right now it feels like the movement between the fingers and the egg is kind of disconnected, because the fingers kind of fold over, but the egg doesn't move much.
We're also dealing with the fact that that hand would probably be opaque, and therefore the egg would just be completely gone. I don't know if this sort of framing emphasizes seeing the hand more than the egg itself, which might be okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't think it really matters what you see more, so long as what's happening is clear.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, like, the way that the egg is being held here,
yeah, you gotta know. You gotta
I feel
see,
like If it's being held by the fingers and then the fingers folded on the next frame, the egg would go with the fingers.
Yeah, if you had an in-between, then you'd be able to show that the way that would rotate back and around.
You might not necessarily even need an in-between, just need to make sure that the egg is in the right place in accordance to the fingers.
Okay.
And then the egg is in the palm of the hand, which makes sense. And the other hand is coming in. And this is the part that I'm not 100% sure on. Because I'm assuming that this hand is removing the shell. But in order to remove a shell from an egg like that, you would need to like crack the egg open with your hand, right? And pull both sides of the shell apart.
Gotcha.
Would you? That's a question.
Oh, I no idea. I assume like you'd have to grab one end and like pull, but I don't know.
Nobody is the perfect egg cracker. Nobody. Let me see. Let me just look at some reference for a sec.
I mean, from the looks of it, they somehow scoop out the yolk in this one.
But the yolk is in the left hand, so they can't be scooping that out with the other hand, can they?
Oh, that's true.
Crack egg. Crack egg on table. Wait, this person does it. How to crack an egg. Step by step. Helpful. Awesome. Let me just check. Yeah, no, they have the yolk and the white in one hand here, so it's just the shell that's being removed. So how are they getting the egg out of the shell here? Let's have a look at this helpful, informative video. How to crack an egg. Wait.
It's done. Soap and water and egg.
Okay. Yep, that's an egg.
Crack.
Okay, got it. Wait, no, that's an edge. Why are you cracking it so many times? Okay, it's got, okay. Sure.
It is pretty violent.
It is pretty violent. Okay. That's not what we're doing here. That's not, okay. Crack egg. Separate yolk.
There. There's yolks in their hand in the thumbnail. Do that one.
Okay, this is separating...
That's a big old egg.
This is egg separating tricks and hacks. I'm not sure that's what you want.
Step 1. Slam the egg on every surface around you.
Stop talking and crack the damn egg. There we go.
It's Star-Lord.
So he uses both his thumbs to get in there into the crack. Okay. That's not using your hand, though. That's not using your hand, though.
He said that was the smartest way, though.
It doesn't matter. That's not the way that this person is animating it. So let's have a look at these egg hacks. Egg hacks!
Moopers.
That's so scary. I don't like the size of that egg. That disturbs me greatly.
Is that like an ostrich egg or something?
Are you going to do it in your hand? Do it in your hand. Stop talking.
Nobody does it in their hand.
Wait, people do. People do. I've seen them.
Clearly.
I've straight up seen them.
Is that Michael Fassbender? Yeah, I know this section is pretty bad at showing things. I was frustrated with hands, and instead of drawing more frames, I added color with my time. I think the best note to self is don't be lazy and get more reference.
It's just like...
Wait, is he doing it? Oh, he did it!
He did it. He did it with one hand. Hold on.
Hey, it's Nick. Wow, it's you. You're 22. Hands. You need to have those.
No, look, this dude cracks it open with one hand.
Yeah. He's pro.
Yeah, so you could do that, right?
Yeah.
And then look, you see, he's doing it with his hands, Mike. I told you.
However.
What?
In the animation that we have, they're holding the egg
Right.
in the same hand that receives the yolk, but that would be different unless this
Well,
hand
no, it wouldn't. This would work.
unless this hand coming in picks up the egg and then breaks it.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
That's what we need.
We know what blood you need.
We know what we need.
We know whose blood you need.
I know whose blood you need. So yeah, the hand comes in, and then I just adjust the pose to have it like more obviously picking it up. Like fold that knuckle there. So if you can see that, it's picking something up.
You don't need to animate this.
I'm not animating it.
We just saw it in the video reference.
I'm not animating it. Who said I was animating it? I didn't say I was animating it. And then you would show the egg. Just here. I don't know how they open it. You'd have to look at reference, because I think I've taken the reference off now. But yeah, I think I've lost it from my tabs.
Is it one your palm and your two fingers hold one side and your I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to. That's what I'm saying. You have to look at reference, because I'm not 100% sure myself how it would work. But the important thing is that you would show the hand cracking open that yolk, yo. And then the yolk would come from the egg.
My hand isn't dexterous enough to break eggs.
You know, and you would get the egg coming into the hand, like so. Probably like
make him say yes.
Make him say yes.
It's so good.
That kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know how eggs work, but you would show the yolk going into the hand. Why are you looking at me like that?
You're animating.
I'm not animating it. Look how bad these poses are that I'm doing. I'm just trying to be helpful. And then you could take that hand away.
Get it away.
With the yolk. Not the yolk, with the shell. With the shell. Take that hand away. And it could put the shell behind where you have it. Over here. Makes sense. And then you have your egg. Yes, then you have your egg. And then for this bit where the hands pass the yolk from person to person, I think between these two hands changing, you want to have the hand which is going to be receiving the egg more underneath the hand which is giving the egg. Because what's essentially going to happen is, let me show you, this hand will be ready to catch. You know what would be great here? Onion skin. Sorry, tracing paper I meant. But this hand will be ready to catch the egg. Here it is. Ready to receive egg. Give egg. Bag. I'm sorry for the terrible hand, but it's there ready to receive the egg. And let me just move this over to the next frame. There we go. And this hand is going to tip the egg into that hand. Like so. So rather than it like magically appearing in the other hand, that hand like braces to catch it. And then the hand with the egg tips the yolk into the waiting hand. So it's like very clear how it's getting from one hand to the other. Let me just do it orange so it's easy to see where the yolk is. And then that hand has the yolk. Like so. And the other hand would probably move away a little bit before it's ready to come back under again, and then receive the egg from the hand that now has it, which would also tip into the other hand. Because at the moment you have the hand kind of come under and then it moves away again. If I take off my notes, and then it moves away again, and then the egg is just in the hand, but we're not sure how it got there. The hands kind of pass through one another, so you just want to make the mechanics really clear, where it's like the hand comes under, one hand tips the egg into the other, and then it has the egg. Yep. And then it goes into the bowl with the other yolks. I can't help feeling as well that you might want to soften that drop into the other yolks in terms of the hand's position. Like, it feels like they're letting the yolk drop from a fairly high height into the bowl. I think if it was me doing it, and I'm not a chef, so maybe chefs are fine doing this, and I'm just, because I'm nervous about making eggs, I would be more tentative about it. But I think I would probably be more like down here at this level with the eggs, to kind of cushion its descent into the bowl and make sure it doesn't have too far to fall. You know? When it comes to the egg white as well, just make sure that shape is like nice and gloopy, because that shape is like, the white of an egg is very uneven in texture. There are like bits which are more gelatinous and bits which are more watery. So it tends to like drop down in a very uneven stream. Knowing eggs, knowing eggs, aha. There is nothing you can egg. Knowing eggs, aha. So let me just put a little note there. Tip from one hand to the other. So I think reference is the main note here. Is seeing exactly how someone does something is going to give you those subtleties to make it feel real.
Yeah.
Likewise with making sure the shape of the yolk looks like egg yolk. Uneven texture. And gloop.
See what Mooper said in the forum. They said spent way too much time messing with the hands and ended up giving up on them and leaving rough in a lot of areas so I could actually focus on the egg. Good.
Yeah. Gentle. I would say, like, my note at the beginning about you easing in, I think we could still do with some more drawings, but after watching that video where it was like, don't tap it softly, tap it firmly, I think that your instinct to go in harder on the egg and make sure it's like being bumped against a table with some force was
Bam.
the right one.
Yeah.
So rather than ease in, I'd just say add a few in-betweens, just so that the we get more than just one drawing of it entering, just to smooth it out basically. Now add in-betweens to complete movement, and I'd add that for the rest of it too. Is like the adding a few in-betweens throughout, I think, would really help. Nice job, Moopers!
Thank you for submitting.
You're a good egg.
Ha. Ha.
Can waterbenders bend egg? I bet they can. There must be water in egg, right?
Some form of it, yeah.
Yeah. There's water in anything which is liquid, right?
There's way less water in humans than I thought there'd be.
Really? Are we 70% water?
Are we?
Isn't that a common saying? I don't know if it's a true saying, but it's a common saying.
Volume of... Maybe it's the amount of blood in human body.
I mean, blood and water are two different things.
Okay, there's way less blood in a human body. There's tons of water.
Mm-hmm. There's so much water. And so much mucus and eye juice and
Yeah.
just general moisture.
25 liters of intracellular water, which amounts to about 62.5%.
Yeah, if you were a waterbender, then separating eggs would be super easy. So we got on some honey blossom bun, and it's an egg. It's another egg. Let's have a look.
How much blood do you think is in a human body? Ooh.
We're making a cake.
Oh, nice.
Want cake.
You even went for the stab.
Went for the stab. Honey blossom bun, you did so much. Oh, it's amazing to see like an entire like step-by-step process and how you're making a cake. Heck yeah. I'm gonna be like a huge pain to you and immediately say like the thing which I think would really help with this is grids. Because you have a lot of nice different angles going on here. For example, we dig in, we're basically looking more or less straight down on this dish. But when we bring it out, it's at this angle. And if we were looking straight down, this cake would fall off this scooper. Because the scooper is it's facing downwards and there's nothing to stop the cake from falling off. So I think like knowing exactly what angle we're looking at things from will really help. What were you umming and ahhing about, Mike?
Oh, that because we only see like the top edge, then yeah, I think it is top down because of the vertical and the horizontal lines and stuff. So I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't, then the cake would be lower, right?
Yeah.
It would be like that.
Robin has a good suggestion saying that I would give the suggestion I would give is to give a bit of time before and after the shot to give people time to realize what's happening.
Yeah, especially towards the end bit. So particularly this bit between this and this. Those are two very fast shots.
Yeah. If it was cut like this, then it would be, you could put it in a part of a film where it's like, oh no, they're coming in an hour and they don't have a cake for them. I need to get the cake done, and it's like boop, 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 like more of a collage.
But even then, you'd want to adjust the timing of your shots to make it feel like that, because some of the shots feel like that and some of the shots don't at the minute. So yeah, having a perspective grid to really know where everything is. Because for example here, it kind of looks like we're looking at the bowls straight side on, but then we can see the top of the cake and the top of the table.
Yeah.
So let me adjust this so I have slightly more white out. There we are. So in this case, it feels like the bowl should really be more like this. If that's the perspective we're going for. It'll make everything feel much more convincing. To have perspective that makes sense and matches throughout. Yeah. I think I made that side too wide. Too wide! Ba-da-da. Ba-da-ba, ba-da, ba-da-da. Ba-da-bum. Ba-bum. Ba-da-bum. Ba-bum. Ba-da-bum. Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-dum. Anyway, you're not helping.
Sorry. I'm gonna go get a drink.
Can you get me a cup of tea?
No. I can get you a drink though. Well, do you want me upstairs for the time it takes the kettle to boil and making you a cup of tea?
Well, okay, how about I go make myself a cup of tea and you critique this?
No.
Will you get me tea? Awesome, because if you won't, I'll go and get myself tea. I require it. So, watch perspective. And use grids. Grids are your friend. Use grids. Tips. Oh, Doig is the best. He's super kind. He does so much stuff for me all the time. Why, just yesterday he went to the store. So I didn't have to. And brought back a bunch of stuff. Why, I feel it was just yesterday. Luckily he's not here now, so he can't stop me from drawing this grid. Ho ha! Can he stop me from drawing it incorrectly? No. It's not here. I'm free to draw it as incorrectly as I like. I'm actually trying not to draw it incorrectly, but I'm still learning myself too about perspective and how that whole shebang works. Wow, that really went skewed, didn't it? That's better. Okay. So we have a grid. Draw the grid accurately, please. And I'm trying, Tib! I'm trying! It's okay, it's not in the frame. The vanishing point is way away. Like if I was to continue these lines. Admittedly, this line does no longer make sense now that I'm looking at it with the vanishing point in mind. Tib! Tib, why are you so good? Okay, so it would be more like this. Oh no, it didn't draw the line. That's annoying. Tib is schooling me on vanishing points, guys. Oh, hot damn. But that doesn't make sense with the edge of the table, is the problem. Maybe the vanishing point would be in frame, because look at the edge of that table there. Hold on. Because I'm assuming the table ends like here-ish in the background. You can cheat by drawing a regular grid. I mean, yeah, you can. That works. I don't think it's particularly cheating. I think you can do that. Unfortunately, I can't in this program. I'm stuck to only what I can do. But if anything, I've learned that the vanishing point would be like way off to the left. But I'm not gonna redo the grid entirely to reflect that, because I think it kind of works to show you the plane that the cake is sitting on for now. So I'm gonna leave it how it is. But the vanishing point for this would be like way off to the left, given the edge of the table here. Oh, Tib says this would have to be 2-point perspective if you wanted it somewhat accurately. Oh. I wish I could recognise that as easily as you, Tib. I hope one day I'll get there. But yeah, use grids. But maybe use grids better than I use them. If you can do them accurately, then definitely do. I need to look at my grids again and learn how to do them more accurately. Maybe that is my homework for today. But yeah, and that would explain how you can see the top of the cake, while the, you know, and the top of the bowl would be something that you would have to see as well to match with that. So looking at something like this shot, let me actually just move this note to the beginning of the shot so it makes sense. There we are. So looking at something like this shot here, the perspective on this is implied to be top down, right? So you would just have a top-down grid. Yeah, that'd be awesome, Tib. I would really like that. I see the first line you drew next to the edge of the table looks the most accurate. Then they rotated way too much. Fair enough. I think I was trying to make the perspective maybe more extreme than it's meant to be. I'll have to work it out. But yeah, this looks like it's meant to be straight down. But if it is, then when the cake is taken out like this, the cake would fall back into the thing, because there's nothing stopping it from gravity acting on it and pulling it down. So I would say if you're going to do a top-down view like this, probably you would need to adjust this drawing so that the cake is sat more on the spatula as like a flat surface. More like this. So cake would fall. Cake would fall. If perspective was top down. Adjust drawing. So cake sits on spatula. Sits on. This isn't a spatula. I don't know what it is. A scooper. I'll just put so cake sits on flat surface. There we are. avoided having to name it anything. Fall cakes. So this is obviously just top down as well. Thank you, Mike. It does look a little milky. That's okay though. And then this perspective. Oh, this will be easy to work out though. I only have a few minutes before Mike realizes what I'm doing.
Are you just plotting the grids in every shot?
I would never. So if we just follow those two lines somewhat accurately, then the vanishing point is somewhere like there for this, so that's helpful. Vanishing point
Corresponds with the horizontal line at the top of the dish.
Yeah, well, I think it's not completely accurate the way that I've drawn it, but it's as accurate as I can get with this big blobby pen trying to position a ruler on my screen. There we go.
What did I miss? Doesn't matter.
What did you miss?
Yeah, it doesn't
Nothing,
matter,
just
doesn't
me
matter.
doing grids. Nothing at all, Mike. Just me doing grids.
Okay, on to the next one then.
Wait, no, I haven't. I've only done grids so far.
It's okay.
And then Tip says, and then you can see how the character looks like they're leaning back in the shot, assuming that grid is flat. Yeah. Yeah, I do see that. Because assuming that that's the vanishing point, it might be nice to maybe see a little bit of that double rim happening. And it feels like the person would need to be leant over to get this out of the oven. So you might want to lean them forward a little bit. A little bit more, if that makes sense. Yeah, a little bit more like this, like they're leaning forward. Lean forward. Just feels natural as well when you're taking something out of the oven. I've never heard Hamilton before. I should. But yeah, likewise with these shots, basically work out what your perspective is. There you are, Mike. See, I haven't done them all. So let's start from the beginning and look at the animation.
Are you?
What's up?
Nothing.
I was just looking at the grids. It's important. Grids are important. Look at the perspective on this first shot. Grids are important.
Yeah.
A grid on this first shot would really help you out, I think. So looking at this first shot, I think you want to make sure that you watch for fingers sliding over the surface of the egg. Because there's a few frames here, like this one here, where the egg doesn't feel like it moves much, but the hands really rotate and slide around. Make sure that the egg feels grounded within the fingers which are holding it. So, if the fingers move, the egg's gonna move. So, on this frame, I'll put a little note. Make sure egg moves with fingers. Just like make sure to keep it solid, you know?
Yeah.
It will
Action
help
reaction.
it will help your believability a lot. With fingers! Really nice drawings of hands. I like the hands a lot. You know, like here the egg drifts backwards even though the hands don't move too much. So just make sure that you keep that feeling like there is, like, the movement of the egg is dependent on the hands. The egg isn't moving on its own. It's only moving because the hands are moving it around. I'm just checking the way that it drips into the bowl. I like the way that you have everything displaced in the bowl here when the yolk hits it. I do think it'd be nice to do that from the start here, from when it first touches the liquid, to have it already displacing everything. I think that's a really nice touch, and I'd be tempted to use it more because it definitely would displace all the liquid in the bowl, because this is thick liquid. This egg yolks are pretty, sorry, egg whites are pretty thick. So displace liquid, because you're doing it in the following frames and it's working really nice. So just make sure that you do it from the first frame it hits. And then I think here you can just, rather than keep these so close together, when the liquid drops down, I think handling your spacing a bit wider there will make it feel more like a drop. And then you can go straight into this kind of shape afterwards. Nice stringiness here. Make sure that it doesn't feel like your egg whites are just dissolving or disappearing into the air. Remember that everything has to go somewhere, you know? Like,
Yeah, it's not evaporating, so it's not going to reduce in volume.
Yeah, these strings are going to continue to, like, hang around even after bits of it have dropped off. So, don't let your whites dissolve. You know, and then you'd follow that through onto the following frames and everything too. And then we get this whiskey shot. The thing I think I'm noticing here on this shot is that it feels like the egg yolks here are moving before the actual whisk is moving, and it doesn't really feel like they're moving around where the whisk is. I like it here where you can see that the whisk is definitely on, because you can see the effect it's having on the liquid with these kind of speed lines going around the whisk, and the fact that it's half enveloped within it. And it's more central in the bowl too, which makes it feel like everything is rotating around it much more. At the beginning though, I think you really want to show first off that the whisk is on immediately. So giving it like a few speed lines or something, just to show that the whisk is moving. Clearly show it's on. There's whiskey in the jar. And then the movement of the eggs should rotate around that, basically. So the eggs at the the eggs at the edge of the bowl might not necessarily immediately react to that. Oh, damn. Oh, damn, I did it on the wrong frame. I did it on the wrong frame, yo. Oh, no, you know what? I did it on a fine frame. Absolutely fine. Oh, however, I've just thought of something very smart I could do. I'm so smart. I'm actually incredibly dumb for not noticing I could do this earlier.
What are you doing?
I'm tracing it, and then I'm just going to move my feedback. And then rather than having to like try and guess where everything was in the previous frame, I can just use the previous frame. It's something that I should have been doing this entire time, but haven't been. Like a Damas.
A Damascus.
Okay, here we are. So let me just erase this and move this to that frame instead. There we go. So here, when the whisk captures all the eggs, you can start pulling the eggs in, but leave the ones at the edge, so we can see that the center of the force, the center of the motivation for this movement, is coming from this whisk here, and the way it's kind of pulling the eggs into it.
The whisk goes spin.
The whisk goes spin, and then you can, you know, start to have those pulled around more. Basically just think about keeping the shapes kind of consistent and think about where they would go and where they'd be doing what they're doing. And then spin. Yeah, like so. Then it feels more like the movement of the eggs is motivated by the whisk, rather than they're just moving on their own without the whisk being on. I like the rest of it. This is working well. Yay. Yay! And then we have the sprinkling of the flour. The sprinkling of the flour.
Nice.
I'd just say when the hand hits the sieve here, have the sieve react. Because we can see the hand hitting the sieve, but we can't see the sieve actually moving. And the jolt to the sieve is what makes the flour come out, right?
I think so.
When you hit the sieve, make sure the sieve moves. Because otherwise it looks like it just hasn't. Like, the sieve is stronger than any human hand could be.
You're depicting a fight against an immovable object.
Yeah. Make sure the sieve moves. It's reaction. Action, reaction.
You could have the sieve move towards the hand and the hand. Like, would you do both together, or would you only have one?
Depends who you are. I would just tap it with my hand. I wouldn't move the thing towards me, but that's just me.
I'm thinking that you should move on to the next clip.
But I'm still critiquing this.
Okay.
I would feel bad to just leave them half critiqued.
I think they've got a critique that they can apply, and that the next person will appreciate your critique as well. We're not going on to a day 3.
No, we're not. I wasn't planning to. Yeah, so just like give us another drawing of the sieve being slightly closer. So it's just like this end of the sieve has swung out. Like, you can still keep it pretty much stationary where the hand's holding it, but this end of the sieve. Swings towards us slightly. Then we have the shot. And I just say, this shot, it's kind of difficult for me to interpret exactly what the person is doing. With the kind of scooper here.
I think the hand is a little bit more stationary, so if you just watch the hand, you can see the motion that is like sort of like that scooping up, but there's a jitter on the scoop itself that doesn't relate to how solid the hand feels.
Are they scooping or are they stirring? That's my question, because they're not going deep enough in to stir, but they're not rotating it enough to scoop.
I mean, the hand is doing this. So they might probably kneading it or like doing something with one of those flat spatula things.
Yeah, I guess I'm just not 100% sure what it is. It is a skir. A scoop and a stir or stoop.
I think they're just...
You're combining the words. Yeah, because if this is sideways, then it means that we essentially have a tool that's kind of shaped like this wedge, and then the dough is just stuck straight to the side like this.
Darkvolt says, I think it may be folding the beaten egg with the batter mixture.
Because if you're folding, you want to kind of tuck underneath it, don't you? And then fold it over the top. It doesn't feel like they're really going deep enough into this batter mixture to fold it.
Yeah.
So I'd just say, because I'm kind of unclear what's happening, maybe look at a bit more reference for this bit. And try and make those poses really clear as to what's happening. So it's kind of like they pat the top of it, and then they pat the top of it again. And then they bring this upwards, and everything in the bowl kind of moves to follow it, like it's stuck to the front of the scoop.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure what motivated it to get stuck to the front of the scoop that much, since it didn't seem to be stuck to the front of the scoop at the beginning. I think if you pushed it into the mixture more and then really scooped it out, then that would maybe feel better. It was like really rotated here. And then you had some dough like on top of it. To really like feel like it's being scooped out, if that's what you're doing. But yeah, I'll just try let's see, a reference, folding eggs with flour. And clarify pulses. What are you typing, Mike?
I'm just looking at folding batter.
Ah.
I think that's what they're doing.
Yeah. To fold batter though, you really need to get your implement in there and underneath and kind of fold it over the top of itself.
Gotcha.
So make sure that you're like really getting your Thank you for the follow. Make sure you're really getting your stirring implement or your folding implement in there.
It's good,
And
isn't
then
it,
this
coffee?
is nice. Like this pour. This is a good pour. I would say just give a little bit of time between these two shots.
Yeah.
Give a little time in between these two shots. As they are very quick. Yeah, and then that's all the critique. I think.
Yay.
I wonder what kind of cake it is. It looks all syrupy. I would say that here where the fork stabs in and then pulls back, it feels like the piece that it takes from just the very end of the movement, whereas because the fork is stabbed into the cake the entire time, it feels like the bit of cake that is dragged away should probably at least show more damage along the rest of the cake rather than only going away from that one edge.
More damage.
I mean, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. That
It's
makes
really
sense.
difficult to put into words. Basically, your fork prongs start here, and then they drag along, but the only part that's taken out of the cake is from here.
Yeah.
So I think it would make more sense for it to be more like that
Yeah.
kind of shape. So it's going from where the prongs of the fork were, since they were dragging along the entire cake. Hole starts where teeth of fork. I think they're called teeth. Were. There you are, Mike. You happy?
Mhm.
You happy now?
Yeah.
I did it. I could keep going, but
No, I think you're good.
Okay. Okay. Where am I? Here I am. Thank you very much, Honey Blossom Bun, for baking us a cake.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at Plintoon. Plintoon. Mo egg. Mo egg. What is it? What's up? Okay, you can tell us your thought processes. You don't have to like. If there's stuff you want to change on the stream, you don't have to hide it from the stream.
Okay.
You can do that. Oh my gosh! Just comes in and stabs it from above. Yes, I like it. I like this magical egg hover. It's good. I like the way that you have shown the egg cooking by changing the transparency of the egg white. That's super cool. This is making me want eggs.
So many eggs.
That egg stab is so violent. I love it. Let's have a look, frame by frame. So, where your grid? Where's your grid? Where is this in perspective? I believe it is. Where your grid? Okay, so Knife come in. Poor egg. An egg crack open. Okay.
It's a really nice use of color to show the viscosity and the material of the egg.
Yeah. I like the way that you're using a lineless style as well. I'm just trying to figure out like if this egg is breaking as an egg would break.
I think the lineless stuff is hiding the overlap where the left egg is over the right. So it's kind of breaking in a way where you're unsure of what's happening here. Yeah.
It feels like because of that shape that this would be slightly bigger here. Is the thing. You know that weird membrane that eggs kind of have inside?
Yeah.
That holds the shell together? It feels like that would still be clinging on here as the egg halves are separating. So it feels like you could have like the little bit of overflow you have happening here just here instead, but show that the egg is still like held together by that weird membrane that's inside it.
Yeah.
And then when you do this bit, see, again, I'm just like making the egg halves a little bit bigger because it feels like they would be from the previous drawings. Bum, 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 ba-dum. We've got rid of that viscosity, but it feels like bits of the egg would still be like hanging off. Because the thing is, when eggs break, my new album, they don't really have this very large, clean, soft shape. It's much more like lots of little splintered bits. Lots of little cracks of shell that are held together by an internal membrane. So I think you could use that a little bit more here. And obviously you're not going to draw the cracks because this is a lineless style. But in showing like a slightly more nuance in the shape of the outside shell, I think you can imply them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm following you.
Yeah. So if you have a little bit of shell hanging off here, still attached by the membrane, and you have a few more little cracks to imply that, I think it will feel more eggy. More eggy! Eggs! Damn, I want eggs.
I do not want eggs.
You don't like eggs?
No.
Strange man from a strange world.
They're just chicken butt things.
They're not chicken butt things, Mike.
Chicken butt things.
Like, people don't poop babies.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, man. Okay. Alright. See. They are. And it go! So yeah, here we have the overflow influenced a little bit more by the shape of the egg shell. Is what I'm thinking. Because right now it feels like this egg yolk is kind of coming out slightly to the right. So try to keep in mind that it would be influenced by the shape of the shell it's dripping out of. Josh says, wait, they don't?
I like egg fried stuff.
Yeah.
Truth be told.
Ta-da.
Like egg noodles and egg fried rice. So maybe I do like egg, just not egg I have to look at.
I really like the distortion that you have on the egg here as it slides out.
Yeah,
That's
it's
super
nice. Really.
I do feel like this should be slightly more of an in-between to ease out that motion a little bit. Handle this yolk frame as more of an in-between. Between the previous position and the next position. So we kind of ease it over to this. Come on, pen draw. There we go. Yeah. And then this is really nice with the egg slowly turning. I like the way it displaces the oil as well. That's super nice.
Yeah. It's cool. Is he gonna cut through it?
Yeah, you've seen this, right?
Mm-mm. Oh, satisfying.
Yeah.
Cool.
So when it comes to this bit where we cut through it, I think it might be nice to have the cut happen first and then have the yolk spill afterwards. So first of all, you might have this indication that the cut has gone through.
There's something odd to me about the way that the highlight on the egg is moving as if it's its own volume. Like, I think you want to use those highlights on the yolk to show how the surface of the egg is changing, not how the surface area is changing. You want to show that maybe if if that rounded cylinder, like the dome object, is being pushed so one side is like moved over, then the angle of the egg is going to become like harsher. So the highlight's probably going to narrow because it's got less surface at the same. Less of the surface is going to be at the same angle of reflection. So rather than having the same volume of reflection moving over, it probably sharpen and narrow instead. If that makes any sense.
I didn't quite understand that, but I'm gonna trust you and just be like, yep.
Cool.
Yeah. And then we can show this being pulled along. In fact, let me color drop it. There we go. Pulled along by the knife here, which will make the next frame make a little bit more sense. Because you're pulling the yolk along with the knife here in the next frame. So let's start that here. And pull a little bit along there. And then I feel like it would bead up here as well, and maybe deflate a little bit more as all that liquid is let out. Because it's kind of like, again, there's like a membrane or skin over the yolk, right? And then it gets punctured and everything kind of spills out. So I feel like there would be a reaction to that. I may not be able to draw the subtlety well enough here but hopefully you get what I'm saying. I don't think the yolk would continue traveling up the knife here as the knife moves. So just keep that in mind, and I think try and keep the height of the yolk even on the knife. Deflate. And then just make sure that you keep that yolk on the knife so it's consistent and it doesn't just disappear. You know?
Yeah. Good job.
But I really like this. There's a lot of attention to detail here, which is really nice to see. I think you just want to make sure that that you're looking at every frame in context of the frame before and afterwards to really make sure that things don't just pop into being. Like having a few more eases on this kind of stuff would be really nice. Like this left hand blob here just kind of appears out of nowhere. But it would be nice to have that start a little bit of a frame before, so there's like an indication of it somewhat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, generally just making sure that things make sense with the before and after of the frames. That's a really bad way to say it. Making sure things make sense with the frames that come before and after them is what I meant.
Like things are motivated rather than popping in. Cool. Who do we have up next?
But yeah, great work. I really like the way that this yolk kind of emerges from underneath as well. Super nice. Get that egg! Egg.
I like the way that it's still boiling because it's cooking.
Yeah, I would say be careful it doesn't feel like the egg spreads out and thins out here and then bolsters and gets bigger again at the end.
They said in their notes, I particularly struggle with keeping my volume consistent. So they're aware of it, and I think you're noticing it too. So if any of India's advice has helped with that.
I hope so, yeah. Like the volume at the end of this yolk here, it feels like the yolk increases in volume at the end, so just keep an eye on that. Maybe end the animation of the egg more here instead. So it feels like, you know, if you end it here and then do a few more in-betweens between these two frames, then it will have a nice ease into the final position. Because right now it kind of feels like it spreads out and then the volume of it is bolstered again. It gets bigger again at the end. So just be aware of that. But yeah, lovely work. Very eggy. Alright, we're on to Vert. Vert MB. Let's have a look. It looks like we've got a chili going on.
Cool. Ooh.
Did
very
Vert
colourful.
say anything?
Let's see. No. He did not.
That's true, Dark Bolt. As the egg whites turn from transparent to opaque white, the yolk can also turn to a more bright yellow on contact with the pan. It's true. Bert says, I was a bit lazy this week. I'm a man of silence. Alright, let's have a look. Yeah. But you're a bit lazy this week, huh? And this first picture of food looks so appetizing. I was like, wow, I can't wait to see how all this moves. And then you just drew over it, didn't you? I mean, I can tell what's happening. It works. Yeah, it's still nice. As Darkball says, it's still nice. It still totally works. And it actually does something really nice about this style. of having like this painted, like almost portrait of the food,
Yeah.
and then having the line over the top.
It kind of feels like if someone was doing a cooking show and they had some sort of augmented reality graphics over the top. So like someone's cooking it like a live action thing in a pan, you just have these like little cartoon like splish splashes. It has that feel to me.
Yeah, I feel like
cool.
I feel like you could almost do like entire video or short with this style, which would be really nice, where you have like things which are paintings and then over the top you have the movement that they would have.
Yeah,
That's like pretty cool.
It's got the same vibe as when you like we saw that cake icing going over the top of a face. You know, like you drew the googly little.
Oh yeah, the
face
little face on top of it.
It's got that feel to it.
I was playing Fall Guys. I see. While you were animating it.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks for submitting, Bert. That's really cool. Next one.
It is cool. What? No, we've still got to give it some critique.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. We've given it critique. We thought it was really
critique.
cool. We have.
We haven't. So for one thing, the perspective of this pan. I need a grid also, but give me a grid.
The perspective's wrong. You should try better. Next.
Michael! I'm gonna throw my tea at you. I swear. I'm like trying to do a good job here.
Okay.
So the perspective here is implied that we're looking mostly straight down with slightly you need to help me. Not go against me. I find it hard to find the words.
Okay.
You could be helping me do this instead of making things harder for me.
I'm sorry.
How do I even say this? How do I make words? So we're not straight down. We are looking. Oh my gosh! If only this pen would work. We're looking down at it, but slightly.
An angle?
Yeah, I guess so. Like we're standing looking over it, but we're not completely over the top of it.
Use degrees. So if this is 0 and this is 90, like so 10, 20,
yeah, we're like
30.
at like 15 degrees or something.
Yeah, there you go.
However, the splash that you have animated here is at more like a 45 degree, I would say. Like if I'm imagining the splash, I'm looking at this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas it feels like if you're going with the perspective that you've set up for your chili here, it should be more like... Damn this pen. It should be like more like this kind of thing, maybe?
Yeah.
Like more top down on this perspective of the splash. So make sure... Splash perspective. Persp matches. Background.
So in a walk like that, you see those little indents on the left and the right, those little circular parts. Those should attach and line up with the handle prongs. So that might be what you're seeing, Peter Steves, is like the handles, they're not matching them.
Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, like you want these to...
But that's
It's a little
not
nitpick.
that's not an animation critique, that's a drawing one.
But yeah, I want to make sure that your splash perspective lines up with the perspective you've set up for your scene. I really like the way you painted this like wooden spatula going into the food. Super nice.
Drawing food items and like cutlery and crockery and stuff is actually really fun.
Yeah. And when it comes to like the splashes themselves, I think the way that you're drawing them at the minute is a bit regular. Like looking at this one up here at the top, they all have the same splash shape. No matter where in the soup they're hitting, whether they're hitting a bean or whether they're hitting the liquid or whether they're hitting like anything else. It also feels like maybe that splash shape is a little bit too watery, whereas this would be quite a thick broth, I'm assuming. But in general, I think you just need more variance in those shapes. and more nuance to them. Like them having a hard divide at the bottom too, I don't think it's going to work with the feeling of what you're going for. I think it would be better to lose that divide so that they truly are like blending into the gumbo.
Gumbo.
And then just giving them like a more nuanced shape, I think would be a big help. And having them all like hit at slightly different times as well will also help. So don't have them all go back into the gumbo the same amount at the same time. Have some of them hit like just one frame earlier or something. And it will immediately make your shapes way more interesting. What are you up to, Mike?
I'm looking at how many we have left.
We have one left.
Yeah.
Do you want to help me out with this one? Say anything about it?
I've said what I had. I don't have advice for this one.
Just keep in mind like the viscosity and the thickness of the broth. I think also be careful about something I'm just noticing now as I'm kind of drawing over and playing with it a little bit, is that all of your drops are very evenly spaced, which is kind of a warning sign immediately, because when a splash happens, it's very rarely this completely evenly spaced, and it's far more often like this, where things are unevenly spaced, more organically shaped. So like try not to space them so evenly. Yeah, if you have some boiling animation happening, maybe favor one side with the bigger splash and then the other side with some smaller splashes.
Are those splashes like in a boiling thing? Is that where like an air bubble pops? Is that what this is describing? I wonder how that differs, because that differs from a solid object dropping into water. So yeah, I'm gonna look at some reference of that. See.
Let me just put a little note here. Keep shapes uneven. Uneven, organic, varied.
I like that there's how to boil water videos on YouTube.
Uneven spacing. Not symmetrical.
Oh, that's
nuance and variance are the keys. That's okay, you can learn how to splash. Splashing is a skill that can be learned. I like this boiling that you have on the beans though.
It's really interesting to see like how quickly water boiling bubbles, like they break but they push the stuff around them. That's really cool. They also seem to move. It's probably the position that these the person has this on the heater, but they all seem to be moving from bottom to top. But that might be an inconsistent heat applied to like one side of the pan more. I'm looking at references really cool. So here's more sizzly stuff. This is probably a better reference so you can see it in there.
This is not boiling. Despite the fact it told me it would be, it is not.
I wonder if the slow-mo guys have done like slow motion water boiling. Because that would be really cool to see, because this it's so fast. There's something I noticed, like usually when people do this, they have like 1 or 2 frame sort of like feeling to it.
I love how this is meant to be relaxing, but the slow-mo has not been filmed on like a high frame rate camera. So it's just like, it looks like it's on 10s or something.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of grody looking.
Guys boiling
but
water.
You don't want to look at water is the thing, Mike.
Okay.
You want to look at soup or something, because water boils differently to soup because of the viscosity of it. Well, look at this. Pea soup boiling. Whoa, look at it go! Yeah! So, in this particular boil, there aren't even droplets being flung upwards. It's more like just a ripple that happens.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little pocket explosion.
And that's probably because of the viscosity of it. Again, like because it's clinging to itself, because it's thicker and heavier, it's less easy to separate and fling up into the air. Okay, boiling rice motion, boiling sauce, slow motion. Let's have a look at that.
Yay!
Yeah, boil that sauce.
Yeah, look at the ripple go out. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. Is this a loop? Because it's interesting to see that bubbles form kind of in the same space. Hmm?
We just got...
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, poof.
Let me see that again.
I wonder why.
What do you mean you wonder why?
I wonder why that particular part went poof.
Have a look at it. So I'm looking for those who don't know.
Yeah, look at them go.
I'm looking at the bottom right bubble. You guys can't probably see my mouse, but it's the bottom right bubble is about to erupt. So here it goes. So the middle hollow's out, and then we see this shape come up of the erupting soup. It pushes upwards, and you see it separate into droplets. Woo. And then they fall just in one direction, pretty much.
Yeah, they all come from the center. That's cool.
They definitely don't fall around it in pitter-patters. They kind of fall.
Yeah, they're sort of like,
they're like
shot
launched
up into the air.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Good reference, India.
It's interesting too how the boils all seem to center on the same place. Like there are multiple boiling points and they kind of pile on top of one another. Like the hot air finds a place it can escape and continues going down that channel.
Yeah. Look at the steam as well.
We're just staring at this hot soup. Hot soup!
I hadn't even connected that. God damn.
Sorry, I've got to stay to the end of the video. This is important. I give it a thumbs up. I like this. Yeah, so that's a good reference. I'm sorry, Pat the Lucky One. The subtleties of soup. Yes. So, I'd say keep this uneven. but also look at reference, because the way that soup and chili and such erupts and boils is different to how water boils and different to how we would probably think it does. So I'd say probably the best thing you can do is check out reference to make sure that you're getting the shapes feeling accurate. Check out reference, baby.
Check out Rev.
Sorry, I'm trying. There we go. Check out ref. Oh my gosh, George did one! Yo! Hey George, thank you for taking part. Oh, that's awesome. Let's have a look.
Look at this bucket friend. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Cutting some carrots. That's really cool. I really like the way that they're stacking up because of the moisture from the vegetable. It's making it stick to the knife and pile up.
That's cool.
Because they do that. I've seen them do that. Nice that you're keeping the thickness as well of the vegetable. See that it is just a discrepancy with the frame there, where you would want the frame to be there a little bit before it is. Let me grab that colour. Now it is mine. So if this is where the edge of the carrot is, this is gonna almost be where you want it from the start, because it is gonna get pushed out by the knife a little bit, isn't it? So you do want it slightly further in at the beginning.
Hey, George.
Hey, George! How's it going? Oh no, what have I done? I drew something and then accidentally undid it like a fool.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what I was gonna say is that when this person chops, the end of the carrot stays the same. So you just want to bring that forward a little bit on the first frame.
Hey, Ola. G'day, folks. Is the stream ending? I've been doing those things that make your muscles and mood grow.
Oh, nice.
Is that exercise? Yeah, yeah.
And then just here, I'm just going to trace over what you already have. I think this just wants to hit a frame earlier, basically. Or 2 frames earlier. There we are. So we see them actually cut. Thank you for the follow.
Thank you.
We see them cut into the carrot rather than at the end of the carrot. And then we see the carrot piece separate and get pushed out.
Is this a particular character that you have, George?
Really nice tilt there, George, on them pushing the carrot out.
Yeah, that's nice.
Really nice. And then same here, just make sure that they look like they're actually cutting into the carrot rather than in front of the carrot. Ha! And it just pops up. So yeah, if I was going to push this, then I would just have these start to be pushed up by the ones underneath them. That would be a simple way to push it. Rather than have them just immediately pop up. Have them actually pushed
I want to get the clip. The drill is out of beta for one of our alerts.
The drill is out of beta. We could get, maybe we are here for a fight.
If we get raided!
Yeah.
Yes! Ah, yeah! Yeah! I'm really excited by that one. Maybe we are here for a
We
fight.
just want to talk, even though every time we do.
Would you want the whole clip?
I kind of would, yeah. It's such a great clip. Because I feel like the line delivery from Donnie kind of works best when you have the context for it. Let me just destroy that, bring that forward. Yeah.
Hello there, crow friend.
A crow male.
Yeah. Caw, caw, crow meow. This is from Pat the Lucky One says, I did said I would give save points. Sorry, I did say I would save points to give you both squats, but I still love crow mail better. And hey, I love your stuff a lot. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just have the lower part push up the upper part. And likewise with this next chop. Same thing. A really nice observation here though, George. Super nice. Let me see if there's anything I can see with the rest of the body that I would call nice. They're moving from the elbow, which is nice.
That push out with the knife is really satisfying.
Yeah, it is. You could lead into that push out with the knife a little bit more, so it doesn't feel like their upper arm is stretching. You could bring the shoulder over just a little bit and lean into that.
I like the little head. Ooh, doo, doo.
Yeah, me too. It's cute. And then same here, just lean into it a little bit.
I'd like to see you animate this, George, but change it up so the character feels more threatening.
Whoa.
And like they're just like I don't really mean it.
I like this. This is nice.
I don't mean that, but it'd be really funny.
Shoulder motivates upper arm move. So just make sure that your upper arm isn't stretching without being given that stretch by some other part of the body, essentially.
That makes sense.
Yeah, lovely work, George.
It's really cool.
Super nice, super chill as well, and thank you for the grid. I appreciate it.
Good grid.
Good gridding. Good gridding, sir. Good gridding, my friend. That's all of them, Mike. We did it.
High five! Oh, she just self-fived. I can't believe you do that.
Okay.
You left me
Come
hanging.
Come here.
Yeah. I say high five and you're like, yes, high five. I self-five.
You're welcome, George. Thank you so much for submitting.
That's all of them, but it's only Tuesday.
I know, right? That means tomorrow I get to do some personal work. Personal work.
The submission form was closed.
Hell yeah. Oh, we need to give you guys the next challenge. Okay, the next challenge is going to be one focused on learning weight, because that's what people said that they wanted to focus on yesterday. So it's a pick up, put down challenge. So choose an object that's either really heavy or really light, and simply do a character picking it up and then dropping it. And we want you to convey the weight of the object through both how it drops and how the character picks it up.
Cool. So what's the name of this challenge?
Drop. Drop bear.
Drop bear.
I don't know.
I'll think up one.
So yeah, for example, if you were going to pick up a bowling ball, you would really have to like brace to pick that up because it's pretty heavy. And then when you drop it, it's going to drop straight down, hit the floor, maybe bounce once and roll a little bit, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
But say you picked up something really light, like a feather, you might only need to like use your fingers, and you could give it a little flourish when you bring it up, because there's no effort for you in picking that up. And then when you drop it, there will be like a softer, less, I guess aerodynamic is a word. There'll be a softer, more cushioned float down to the floor. What comes up gets back down.
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
So a good formula that Patrick gave us for conveying weight is that if something is very heavy, it's slow up and fast down.
Yes.
And if something is very light, then it's fast up and slow down. Now, obviously there's exceptions to that rule, but that's like a general rule of thumb as to how Patrick would animate heavy and light characters.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're having to move against gravity with their mass.
Yeah, so for a light character like, you know, a slight assassin, you might have them jump up into the air super fast and then hang in the air as they do some like spin kicks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if he was doing a very like heavy brute character, he would have the up take a lot of time and then the down have real impact.
Yeah.
So think of it like that.
I'll think up a good theme.
Yeah, think of a good title.
Yeah.
But that's what it is this week. So choose a light or heavy object, have a character pick it up and drop it. And obviously, you know, the aim is that we'll be able to see through the animation whether it's heavy or light when we next come and critique them. Not just through what the object itself is. Like, you could draw it like an anvil, but animate it like it's a feather.
What if we say the object is a cube? That you have to decide whether it's heavy or light, but the object is one thing.
Could do that.
That makes it...
It focuses it on the animation spacing itself, which is good.
How would you feel about that?
I don't know if I want to constrain people so much, because at that point it starts to become more like a bouncing ball or something.
Yeah, it becomes more of like a exercise rather than a showreel piece.
Yeah, so we'll let you guys do whatever object you like, but we should be able to tell how heavy the object is through the animation, not through the drawing of the object, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, I don't want to know it's heavy because it's drawn like an anvil. I want to know it's heavy because it drops like an anvil. I
suppose if it was an anvil shaped thing, then if it's not convincingly heavy enough, it's easy to tell that it's not convincing because it's shaped like an anvil.
I still think it's kind of fun to animate the anvil like it's super light.
Fair enough. Okay,
like,
yeah.
Just to take you the other way with it. So we can have someone carry light spikes. What spikes, like Dr. Robotnik spike traps or something?
Yeah, we hope that gives you something exciting to do in the deadline. The submission date for this will be this coming Sunday.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for taking part. We'll be back tomorrow with some personal work.
Woo!
Whoop, whoop, whoop!
I'll be drawing Donnie, I think. Using Habo's notes.
I'm going to be trying to finish my Repo Mantis poster.
Awesome.
And then I have a fun project coming up after that I think you guys will be into. It's more animation and less illustration.
Ooh. Care to tease, or are you going to leave people not knowing?
I'm going to leave you guys not knowing because hopefully it won't be more than like a day or two.
Okay.
Coming.
Yeah. You've caught the very end, Vimo, yeah. We are looking for someone to raid now.
We sure are.
We've been going for almost 3 hours. So I'ma open up Twitch. I'm gonna mute the site so it don't scream at me. Finding someone we can raid. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna raid Hainers today.
Cool, let's do it.
They got a really cool painting. Initiated the raid.
Way!
Put on the
Okay,
outro
guys.
screen. Thank you.
See you, and thank you everyone for being here. It's been a good morning.
And
We hope that you have an awesome day.
yeah, hope you're up to something cool and staying safe and all that good practice.
Dodgeball, go
jazz.
sleep. And may the rest
Have your day
be filled
with
adventure.
adventure. Take care, everyone. Thanks for coming by.
Bye bye.
We'll catch you tomorrow.